Whale people, Dizzy Rose here. Thank you for all the support, and if you are new here, subscribe. Today we are diving into the sea to discuss a true brawl of the mega sea predators. The biggest shark to ever live, the Otodus Megalodon, versus the biggest predator in today's oceans, the sperm whale. We will discuss their strengths and weaknesses to determine who would actually win in an epic battle between these two predators. Let's get into it, people. Before we get into the battle, let's discuss the combatants. The stat categories we will use to compare them is size, strength, speed and agility, stamina, intelligence, senses, durability, and weaponry. Then we will come to a conclusion on the battle. Our first fighter is the sperm whale, also known as cachalot physeter, macrocephalus. It is the largest toothed whale to live today, and is the only living member of the genus. Physeter and one of 3 extant species in the sperm whale family, along with the pygmy sperm whale and dwarf sperm whale of the genus Kogia. Its ancestors were the macroraptorial sperm whales who were more predatory, like the Leviathan and Zygophyseter. The sperm whale fed on giant squids and some species of sharks like the megamouth, and the bull sperm whales had no natural predators but orcas, do target the females and young ones. Now on to the next fighter. Otodus is an extinct species of giant mackerel shark that lived 3.6 million years ago, from the early Miocene to Pliocene. It was the apex predator of its time. It is known from only teeth and vertebrae. The longest of the teeth was 7.48 inches. This massive shark could open its jaws 2.7 to 3.4 meters wide. Now for its evolution, the Meg evolved from a shark from the Cretaceous called Cretalamna that gave rise to the mega sharks, including Megalodon. And no, the Megalodon was not a close relative of the great white, but was part of the Otodus sharks. These sharks got to extreme proportions because of the nitrogen levels started to go up for the Otodus lineage. Some of those sharks got to the size and bigger than a killer whale. Megalodon preyed on whales and had no natural predators as we know of, but possibly themselves and younger ones might have been a threat to Leviathan, the deadliest whale. Now we have the quick overview done, let's get into stats. The first stat is size. The sperm whale was not to be laughed at when talking about overall size. The females can reach about 11 to 12 meters and 16 to 18 tons. The males are much bigger though, and these massive animals could average 16 meters and 45 tons for the bulls. For the biggest recorded bull was 20.7 meters and 88 tons. There was also an individual with a 5.5 meter jawbone that is estimated to be 21 meters and 105 tons according to cubic law estimate. Also, some people may say some sperm whales could reach 150 tons or more, but this is an overestimate because these whales were measured along the curves of the body as opposed to a straight line distance. Now for the mega shark. There were many misconceptions of this shark size, with some estimates of overly exaggerated claims, being small to 30 tons, to being massive to 200 tons. As of right now, I have the most up-to-date Megalodon size. Also, I should discuss an estimate recently regarding a new reconstruction of this shark. Supposedly, the Megalodon was more elongated than we thought according to a paper, but it is a very controversial topic. This means the Meg was even longer and heavier than before, and even increasing the size of the specimens we have, but here is the gracile Meg size estimate using vertebrae width scaling, but this is not 100% confirmed. Anyways, male sharks are smaller than females, and the male Megalodon was about 10 to 14 meters and 15 to 34 tons. The most up-to-date size estimates for Megalodon for the average female adult at 16 meters and 61.5 tons, based on the specimen IRSNB P9893, which is based on multiple teeth and vertebral column. There are exceptional specimens that indicate even larger sizes, such as GHC6 at 122 tons and 20.3 meters, and MNHN CP62 at 138 tons and 20.7 plus meters, according to experts like Darius Now. In the overall size category, including mass, the Meg takes this, being bigger on average, and max sizes here, and this is not even close. Now into the strength stat. Sperm whales were extremely powerful animals and robust. These whales were no joke in their power. For example, on November 20th, 1820, a whaling ship called Essex, while at sea in the southern Pacific Ocean under the command of Captain George Pollard Jr., the ship was attacked and sunk by a massive sperm whale. About 2,000 nautical miles from the coast of South America, the 20-man crew was forced to make for land in 3 whaleboats, with what food and water they could salvage from the wreck. This ship was about 238 tons, so this whale was extremely powerful, while it was also the inspiration for Herman Melville's Moby Dick. Now for the Megalodon, this shark was massive and very robust, also muscular, compared to other shark species. Modern sharks are known to damage cages and boats while ramming or biting them. Most people think sharks cannot withstand high forces when ramming or taking damage because of their so-called quote-unquote weak cartilage. Shark cartilage and human cartilage is different in durability because shark cartilage tends to ossify thanks to small prisms of calcium that is formed in the certain body parts. This is known as tessellated cartilage. Also, the centra is also more mineralized than other sharks, and the lack of concentric lamellae. This means they were strong swimmers and could support its massive body weight. So in strength it is close, but in raw physical strength the shark takes this since it was much more bulky and heavier with better musculature, but in ramming power, the sperm whale should have an advantage due to its anatomy of its head built for ramming. Now on to the next stat: speed and agility. The sperm whale could cruise about 4.6 miles per hour. The body of a whale is relatively stiff, and so the animal cannot curve sinuously into a turn the way a swimming seal can. To propel itself around a corner, a whale instead relies on the lift generated by its flippers, making them pretty agile, especially for their big size. Now for the Megalodon, the cruising speed was about 3.1 miles per hour. Megalodon would have reached a top speed of 23.04 miles per hour in burst speed. Such quick turns due to their cartilage skeleton being very flexible. For the speed category, both animals are around the same speed, but Meg is slightly faster. In the agility department, I will have to give it to the whale since this particular whale was more sleeker, giving it more mobility, while this shark species was much more bulky. For the next stat is stamina. Whales are known for their incredible stamina, being able to migrate long distances. Some populations appear to have different migration patterns by life history status, with adult males making long oceanographic migrations into temperate waters, whereas females and young staying in tropical waters year-round. World map providing approximate representation of the sperm whale's range and can hold their breath for a while. The sperm whale can hold its breath for 45 minutes. Now for the Megalodon, these sharks are endothermic, meaning they can exchange their body temperature to their environment. They use ram ventilation for their oxygen intake. After a big ambush, they have to regain their oxygen again before being able to do another big attack. As for stamina, I will slightly give it to the whale since it has better endurance when turning and maintaining top speed for longer periods of time, but the whale does need air. For the next stat, it's intelligence. Sperm whales are quite intelligent animals and are capable of communication and forming matriarchal pods for traveling. The sperm whale's cerebellum is only about 7% of its total brain mass, while the killer whale's cerebellum is twice that size. Researchers contend that while sperm whales have bigger brains, their makeup means they might not be as smart as other marine mammals, namely the killer whale and other dolphins. Now for the shark, most would think they operate by only instinct and are just dumb fish who bite everything. They display more complex behaviors than most people expect. Sharks are capable of long-distance repeated migrations, complicated hunting behaviors, and exhibit social learnings, the ability to learn new behaviors by watching another of the same species do it first. Some sharks even recognize divers in their territory. Megalodon was also a great hunter, with many fossil evidence showing they targeted specific areas on baleen and toothed whales, including the head and tail multiple times, meaning they know exactly how to hunt them and coordinate attacks. Even in modern sharks, they have been observed to take down weakened giant whales like the humpback and blue whale. Also, some great whites are thought to herd pilot whales. As for overall intelligence, the sperm whale is smarter, but for battle experience, the shark takes this since it hunted bigger prey, especially sperm whales' early ancestors, and even competed with deadlier animals like Leviathan. Now for senses, emitted by the respiratory organs, then interpret the echoes these make when they bounce back from objects. Sperm whales use their gigantic nose to produce the most powerful sounds in the animal kingdom, presumably to echolocate deep-sea prey at long ranges and possibly to stun and debilitate prey. They also communicate with it as well. Now for the Megalodon's senses. Sharks have probably one of the best senses of the animal kingdom: sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. Sharks have two other senses, mediated by specialized receptors, electroreceptors. These receptors sit in jelly-filled sensory organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini. These tiny pores are extremely sensitive and can detect even the faintest of electrical fields. The sideral line is responsible for alerting a shark to potential prey and predators. It's made up of a row of small pores that run all the way from the snout to the tail. Surrounding water flows through these pores, and special sensory cells sense any pressure changes. These senses make sharks in general excellent ambush predators and being undetected when prowling prey or enemies. Now for the next stat is durability. Whales are indeed bulky and muscular with thick blubber for protection. Also, the bones of this whale are dense and very durable and capable of withstand high pressure when ramming things. As for sharks, it is a misconception that shark cartilage is weak. Like I have already said, guys, the sharks got strong denticles on their skin. People seem to base this on human cartilage being easily deformed, damaged. However, cartilage isn't a homogeneous concept, and our cartilage is much weaker than sharks' cartilage. Megalodon's vertebrae is more mineralized and stronger than other sharks. Another indicator is the robust oval shape of the centra, meaning it was very durable. Now, who takes durability, you may ask? You may say the Meg has more weak spots, and yes, that is true. And the sperm whale has better defense, but the shark is heavier and more robust than this whale, meaning it was more durable. Now for the last category is weaponry. The sperm whale is kinda in trouble in this department since its jaws are basically useless in this battle with no upper teeth and a weak bite force and slim jaws. Not meant for biting large animals, especially the size of itself or Megalodon. But this whale had a massive head for ramming it could use as a weapon since it could crush some ships with enough force. As for Meg's weaponry, we have its massive and deadliest bite of the animal kingdom. Megalodon had the highest bite force of any animal in history, so far reaching a staggering 140 to 200,000 newtons for the larger individuals. In addition to this, Megalodon's serrated teeth would have made it extremely efficient in slicing flesh, allowing it to rip tons of flesh from its target, causing extreme amounts of blood loss. The Meg also can use its body to ram as well. As for the weaponry category, I will have to give this to the Meg since it could dish out more damage here. But the sperm whale with one good blow could mess up a Megalodon. Now we got all the strengths of both creatures who would actually win in a one-on-one battle. Before I say my verdict, who do you think would win? Leave your opinions in the comments. Anyways, I should mention this is not like an orca versus great white shark at all. The size gap between an orca and great white is way too much. A grown orca can weigh 6+ tons, while some of the biggest white sharks are about 2.5 tons, so this is a clear mismatch. On top of that, bigger predatory sharks seem to prey on similar-sized whales or that are slightly bigger. Reports of false killer whales and even some pilot whale species have been preyed upon great whites. Okay, now onto the battle. The sperm whale is in trouble, and I will tell you why. The Megalodon is already bigger on average and even at maximum weights. A 61.5-ton Meg and a 45-ton sperm whale is a decent-sized gap. If you want to use a 122 to 138-ton Meg against a 105-ton sperm whale, then it is just overkill. The Megalodon is a more muscular animal and much more powerful. Sperm whales may be smarter, but this shark is already used to taking down bigger animals and even fighting with animals like Leviathan. We have proof of some whales in the fossil records showing Megalodon went at the head of the sperm whale to disable them from biting and ramming. Even modern sharks show complex behavior when taking down whales. Sperm whales, on the other hand, only fought each other possibly for mates, but nothing like the Meg has done. Megs even possibly hunted and fought each other on some occasions. The sperm jaws wouldn't be used here for it not being adapted to harm bigger animals. Also, the whale can stun the Meg if it can hit it with its sonic boom, but it would have to be facing where the shark is for this to happen, and sharks are great at stealth, and more times than not the whale would not know where it is if they were about to meet up. The sonic boom will only stun the Meg for a bit and not do too much harm to it since the Meg is massive, and even early sperm whales seem to not do much damage to deter the Meg's attacks. Ramming the Megalodon will be its only way to win. The whale definitely has a strong head for ramming though, so we have take that into consideration. With a hard enough ram, it could cause internal trauma and major damage to the shark and possibly even kill it, if they were in similar size with enough force. I mean, if the shark was slightly bigger, or the same weight, but since the Meg has a 15-ton weight advantage, then I'm not sure it would kill it, but definitely will hurt it. For this to even work, the whale would need lots of momentum, and getting this momentum will take time and will give the shark an opportunity to attack. And the Meg was slightly faster than the sperm whale and could just chase it before the whale has enough momentum to slam it with its head. And trying to ram the Meg will cause a lot of stamina. Also, the Meg would already detect it if the whale tries row, even ambush it, since Meg had its lateral line and electro-reception. And when trying to ram the Meg, it will put it at a disadvantage, making it vulnerable. And if the shark evades or counters it, which is very well can with its slightly superior or similar speed, then it can just simply bite it and kill it with its 180,000 Newton bite force. The Meg's strength and battle IQ in dealing with sperm whales and whales in general will come in very effective here in this battle. It can coordinate and use strategies to take this whale down, and if the whale loses a fin or gets bit on the tail or arteral, then it will drown. I do not see how the sperm whale can win here, since it's just a sitting target waiting to get obliterated. Also, a big advantage is the bite force and bite effectiveness, since the whale's blubber is basically useless because these jaws are specifically made to cut through blubber and crush bones. In this battle, I will give the Megalodon a 70% win rate here, since all the stuff I listed basically shows this fight is a mismatch. During an ambush, this is just unfair, since the Meg would have already spotted the sperm whale due to its superior spotting senses, and the whale would only be able to spot the Meg if it hits it directly with its echolocation at where the shark is. And this whale wouldn't be able to ambush this shark since it would have already detected it. But the reason orcas get great whites is because they can swim longer distances at top speed and have better endurance to catch them. Sperm whales are powerful, but not powerful enough to take down an even bigger predator who is much more experienced in fighting bigger animals and has superior weaponry. Most sharks tend to do better in pound-for-pound or similar-sized confrontations against whales. Examples of this is pilot whales and false killer whales being attacked by bigger predatory sharks. Fanatics will claim the sperm whale can one-shot a Meg by ramming, since it could cripple the Meg because of the shark's cartilage. This can only work if the shark is small or slightly bigger, and the Meg is much bigger. Also remember that shark cartilage is different from our cartilage, and shark cartilage is incredibly durable. And the vertebrae is mineralized, meaning it can take on impacts. Anyways, guys, what do you think of this battle here? Like and subscribe for more content, and I do respect other people's opinions.
Smoking on the split, but I burn up the booth. Drop the top, ain't no roof. Heard he talk, but don't shoot. Hoes talk down on my name and talk behind my back. But I just wanna